And here we go on our Tuesday Hey Mary Kay edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Mary Kay, obviously we've been recording these things at different locations for the last couple of years here. And today, you and I are both sitting outside. Now, I'm just in my backyard because my basement, where I usually record, has been overrun by teenagers with school being out. You, however, if you don't watch these videos, go to our YouTube channel. It's Cleveland Browns on cleveland.com. Go to the YouTube channel. We post videos off all these pods. And this one, Mary Kay, you've got a golf course behind you. You are, of course, at the location of the Browns golf outing still.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm up on the terrace at Westwood Country Club, and there are golfers behind me. They're finishing up this wonderful annual golf tournament for charity. It benefits trying to keep kids in school. So lots of players were here and coaches, and Kevin Stefanski spoke. So it's a beautiful outing, and I'm taking advantage of the great weather and just getting my work done here.
So there you go. If you hear some birds chirping and some wind blowing, it's just it's natural sound. I think they call it nat sound in like the movie or TV industry. I don't know. All right, let's get to it. Our Football Insider subscribers from wherever they are listening to this pod and getting our texts sent us in some questions. We'll start with Tom Bays in Charlotte, North Carolina. Says, hey, Mary Kay, there has been a lot of conversation about the passing game and how Deshaun Watson will use tight ends, wide receivers, and running backs in the offense. Now, he asks specifically about Watson with the Texans and what percentage of passes went to those players. But just Mary Kay, when you think about how this offense will look different, we do know he used his tight ends and they used a lot of 12 personnel in Houston. But based on what we've seen in OTAs and whatnot, how different does this offense look right now?
Well, I think it will be significantly different. They are looking at these OTAs as a passing camp. And why are they doing that? Because they're overhauling their passing game. And we know that they went out and they got a quarterback who has one of the best arms in all of football and is one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. And they are gearing their passing game, all around him. And so they will do some different things. Last year, they were trying to make up in some cases, in some ways, for the deficiencies of Baker Mayfield when he was injured. And this year, they're just going to open it up. It's not going to be as much of the heavy offense that we've seen before, the jumbo-y type of offense that we've seen. You're going to see it's going to be lighter. It's going to be leaner. It's going to be faster. It's going to include some three wides. When there are not three wides out on the field, you're still going to have a number of tight ends and pass catchers. So even if it's not three wide receivers per se, you're going to have a lot of pass catchers out there, running routes and helping Deshaun do all the things that he can do. So I think it will be just way more high flying, way more explosive, and one that can keep pace with the offenses in the NFL today.
So I have the 2020 Texans pulled up here on Pro Football Reference, and Brandon Cooks was the most targeted player 119 times. Then it was Will Fuller, 75. And then you start to get into Jordan Akins, a tight end, was third in targets. Randall Cobb, fourth. David Johnson, fifth. Duke Johnson was seventh. Darren Fells. So he's going to target you if you're open. He's that type of quarterback. And one of the things that I just kind of keep thinking about is the biggest difference in this offense is going to be it's going to operate from the pocket. Like he's going to be able to win and complete passes from the pocket. Now, obviously he's very mobile. He can make plays with his legs, but he can also stand in the pocket. He's 6'2", maybe closer to 6'3". You can see it on the practice field. He's going to be able to stand in the pocket and deliver the football. And I think that's really one of the ways this offense is going to look different.
Yes. And, Alex Van Pelt even talked about that at OTAs last week when he said, we really are working on our drop back passing game. And it was something that they kind of had to struggle with a little bit in previous years with Baker Mayfield. His strength obviously was the bootleg play action game. And Deshaun can, of course, do all those things. But Baker Mayfield, when they took that away to a great extent last year, which we wondered, what defenses were going to do to him, when they largely eliminated that from his game, his strength, he really struggled. And that's not going to happen with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is going to be able to do whatever it takes. He's going to be able to pull it in and run when he needs to. He can roll out if the situation calls for it, but he can stand there in the pocket and deliver the football. So they will have as many options as they possibly can.
Yeah, and I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how he uses his weapons and how he gels with these weapons. And I feel like we've talked about Amari Cooper a lot, but we haven't talked about Amari Cooper a lot. It's just sort of like I haven't come away from OTAs like just I don't know. It hasn't been a topic, and I think that's just because he's Amari Cooper. Like, you know what he's going to do, you know what he's going to be capable of. I mean, I saw him make a nice catch and run last Wednesday when we were out there and stretched the ball over the pylon for a touchdown. So, I mean, you know, that's really the connection I think people should get excited about.
Absolutely, 100%. They're focusing on it a lot. And as you mentioned, it hasn't been something that we have talked about all that much yet, but it is looking really good, the combination between those two. But Deshaun has been spending his time throwing the ball to so many different receivers that, that you're seeing guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones and David Bell and Anthony Schwartz and everybody else get their opportunities too. David Njoku now, Harrison Bryant. So it just hasn't all been Deshaun to Amari, but we're going to be seeing plenty of that once the season begins.